It's award season again, and today we're talking about the Golden Globes? Why the heck should we care about them? Well, where else do you get to see the rampant alcoholism of Hollywood?
Inspiring.
Or the positive effects of Valium.
I know the evening's getting short. I took a Valium tonight, so...
Or more alcohol.
I'll show you a pair of Golden Globes.
And that's not even counting good old Katniss Eversteak. But seriously, with everyone stoned out of their minds at this thing, this is so much more entertaining than the Oscars. Welcome to Film Theory, proudly nominated for Best Speculation in a Leading Role. So let's just cut right to the chase. Award shows can be pretty dumb. Like one award show giving an award to another award show whose crew is working on the current award show presenting the award levels of dumb.
Glenn Weiss, 67th Annual Tony Awards. The Emmy goes to Glenn Weiss for the 67th Annual Tony Awards!
But hey, I still watch them, because let's be honest, what else am I gonna sarcastically live tweet about on a Sunday night? At MattPatGT, by the way, hashtag shameless self-promotion. But outside of the enormously rich creating an event that hypes up their own hype, I also like watching these things to figure out their patterns, break the game. Like say, for instance, that time I did a 2-part episode on how to hack the Oscars, and said that the reason Leonardo Dicaprio didn't win in his first 4 nominations was that he was too young, since the vast majority of Best Actor awards go to men over the age of 40, and wouldn't you know it, a year after I uploaded that video, Leo happens to pull out the win for The Revenant at the ripe old age of 41. Nailed it! You may not have thanked me out loud during your speech, or on Twitter, or have responded to literally the thousands of tweets you were getting about my video being right, Leo, but in my heart, I knew. Anyway, those videos were about how to make movies that are Oscar winners. Obviously helpful to my pal and loyal theorist Leo Dicap, but probably not to most of you watching. So this year we're doing something a bit more practical. How to win your office Oscar pool. Sure, you might not walk away with a gold statue, but you'll get something even better. Cash straight out of your boss's pocket. And that's the sweetest cash of all. So after a year full of bad predictions,
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. At least I will go down as a president.
I think just expect this thing to dominate the cultural conversation for a long time.
Proposing today is that this group in Rogue One turns into this group from the sequel trilogy. Let's start 2017 off right by giving you the tools you need to hack the Oscars. Now, when I started doing my homework on this episode, I expected to talk a lot about how studying the Golden Globes would be the best way to get your Oscar picks in order. I mean, it is the first major award show of the season, and next to the Oscars is by far the most watched of any of the big movie awards. But just going in and plugging the Golden Globe winners into your Oscar pool comes with some big risks. First, credit where credit is due. The Golden Globes are really good at picking out Best Actor and Best Actress awards. In the last 20 years, 70% of Best Actor Oscar winners also won a Golden Globe for that performance. For Best Actress, that number shoots up to a whopping 90%. And there are other categories that have a really high correlation between Oscar wins and Golden Globe wins as well, like screenplay at 80%. Now, at first, those may seem like huge numbers, and granted they are, but they're also a bit misleading. You see, the Academy Awards and Golden Globes don't give out these awards in the same way. Sure, 70% of Best Actors and 90% of Best Actresses at the Oscars also won themselves a Golden Globe, but that's because they had 2 shots to do it. The Golden Globe splits its leading actor categories into comedies and dramas. So while it is highly likely that one of those 2 actors or actresses is going to win the Academy Award, how do you know which of the 2? Is it a 50-50 chance? Flip a coin? Pfft. That don't fly here. And for screenplays, it's the opposite problem. One Oscar is given for Best Original Screenplay, and one is given for Best Adapted Screenplay, whereas the Golden Globes just gives out 1 for screenplay. And all those technical awards that make or break your prediction list, like cinematography, sound mixing, film editing, Not here, my friends. And the last problem, and probably the biggest one, is that the Golden Globes have gotten worse in predicting over the years. From 1983 to 2003, one of the Golden Globe film winners for either Best Comedy or Best Drama went on to win the Oscar for Best Picture 18 out of 21 times. It's a very respectable 86% of the time. In the 12 years since, though, it's dropped to 33%. And it's basically making 2 guesses every year. That sucks. But it's also a really weird trend, right? To go from being so good at guessing to performing less than chance? So what's happening here? Well, quite frankly, it shows that the tastes of the American industry are becoming more and more different from the tastes of the rest of the world. The Golden Globes are handed out by the Hollywood Foreign Press, a group of journalists and photographers that reports on the entertainment industry for sites outside of the US. The Academy, on the other hand, consists of about 6,600 people, mostly US-based, historically 96% white, and all being film industry professionals, with most still being active in making movies. But it's also worth noting that this year it's 6,600. That extra 600 is noteworthy, because those 600 were added just this year in response to all the complaints about a lack of diversity in the Academy. Is it enough to sway the votes? Probably not, but you are going to start to see things shift away from the old guard, and the Academy probably overcorrect for the sins of the last couple years. Anyway, TLDR, the Golden Globes are fun and all to see Jack Nicholson hopped up on Valium, but if you're serious about winning your Oscar pool, you're gonna have to go a lot deeper than that. So where does that mean we should turn? Well, I looked at the past 20 years of awards handed out by the Screen Actors Guild, Writers Guild of America, Directors Guild of America, Producers Guild of America, BAFTA, Satellite Awards, Critics' Choice, National Society of Film Critics, Online Film Critics Society, New York Film Critics Circle, and Los Angeles Film Critics Association. Whew. If I never have to write the name Meryl Streep into an Excel spreadsheet again, I will die a happy man. Obviously, there was a ton of data to wade through, so I'm gonna give you the cliff notes and tell you the 3 biggest lessons learned about Oscar predictability from this little data analysis project I did. Number 1, trust the guilds. In that laundry list of award shows I just rattled off, you heard 4 guilds mentioned: the Screen Actors Guild, the Directors Guild of America, the Producers Guild of America, and the Writers Guild of America. These awards largely go under the radar, but they shouldn't. Each one of them was the single best predictor of the awards that they specialize in. The Screen Actors Guild predicted the Best Actor award 80% of the time, and the Best Actress award 75% of the time. The Writers Guild selected the ultimate winner for adapted and original screenplay at a rate of 70% each. The Directors Guild picked the Best Director Oscar winner 85% of the time, well ahead of any of the other award shows. And the most accurate predictor for Best Picture is an award you probably didn't even know existed: the Producers Guild of America award at 70%. And this all makes sense, right? They're focused on the American voting bloc and they're all specialized in their individual categories. Logic. Lesson number 2, ignore the critics. In my data analysis, I mentioned that I included the picks of several critics associations, and ooh-wee, Mr. Poopy Butthole, was that a waste of time. The New York Film Critics Circle, LA Film Critics Association, Online Film Critics Society, and National Society of Film Critics are not only very redundant in what they've named their organizations, but are also very unreliable across the board. None of those 4 award shows picked the Oscar winner in any category more than half the time. Any category! And their Best Picture picks were especially bad. The Los Angeles Film Critics Society picked the Best Picture Oscar winner twice in the last 20 years. Seriously, we must have some bitter, failed filmmakers in the LA Film Critics Society, because with a 10% accuracy rate, it seems like they are intentionally trying to go against the grain. Whoop, 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 whoop. We got some hipsters over here. Hipster alert! That said, there is one exception. The Critics' Choice Awards are actually surprisingly good at picking Best Cinematography, which it's done 85% of the time, and Best Original Screenplay, which it only missed once in the 11 times that it's handed out the award. So when it comes to those more obscure categories, that's a good one to reference. Which brings us to lesson number 3. Award shows themselves aren't enough. Sure, a 70% accuracy rating for a given category is pretty good, but as any of you who watch our GT Live live streams know, I'm not a big fan of losing.
No! I hit the dog! I hit it!
And I want you to be confident that you're finally gonna get some bragging rights over Bill from accounting. He is so smug. Screw you, Bill, you and your accounting, whatever accountants have, a computer. It's too general. Your calculator. Yeah, that got him. Got him good. But seriously, you guys can relate, right? Every office, school, classroom, whatever has that like one film hipster. Oh, I can't believe that they snubbed this obscure Iranian foreign film. Well, screw them. This is our time to shine. Today, I set out to give you the best way to make your predictions, the best odds to have the ability to rub it in those film hipster faces, and dang it, I intend to deliver. Luckily, the best answer to this problem is the answer that I use for practically every problem these days. The internet. That may seem vague, but stick with me. The digital age has really changed the amount of data that we can collect on what people are thinking, and as a result, the likeliest outcomes of things that people have to decide. If you're just looking through other award shows and how predictive they are, then you only really have a few data points to go off of for predicting any one award. But some analysts are starting to create new models to predict the Academy Awards that consider thousands, if not millions, of data points. Take, for instance, my favorite short-form sarcasm generator and meme filter, Twitter. Last year, a data scientist named Paul Singman ventured to make a model that predicted the Oscars based off the volume of Twitter mentions and rankings of how positive they were. Sure, it wasn't perfect, but Singman's model got a lot of the awards right, like Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Original Score, and Best Animated Feature. And that was the model's first ever test drive. With more results added to the model to see what it got right and what it got wrong from last year, it's highly likely that his model this year is going to be even more accurate. Still, even Singman's model missed probably what was the biggest upset of last year, Best Picture, picking The Revenant over the actual winner of Spotlight. But seriously, everyone missed that one. In fact, Spotlight actually became the first film in over 60 years to win Best Picture while only winning one other award. In analyzing all these different strategies, it was the biggest outlier to try to account for. How do you predict the unpredictable? I mean, seriously, did anybody see that win for Spotlight coming? Well, yes, but not something. It took a lot of research and a lot of trial and error, but I finally found it. Skynet. Google. Google's what I meant. A quick look at the Google Trends data for the search terms The Revenant, The Big Short, and Spotlight starting at the beginning of 2016 shows us an interesting pattern. In all of those graphs, we see a big spike in the week of February 28th, and that's to be expected, since that's when the Oscars were handed out. But it's the shape of the graph in January and early February that's the most interesting. Both The Revenant and The Big Short came into 2016 with very hot search traffic, but then cooled down significantly the couple of weeks leading up to the Oscars. Spotlight, on the other hand, started very flat, but gradually grew, consistently growing in search traffic through the first 6 weeks of 2016. It's plausible that these models of search traffic mirror the behavior of Academy voters. If voters for the Oscars checked out The Big Short and The Revenant while they were hot in search traffic in early January, it's likely that they were watching films that received fewer accolades, like Spotlight, a bit closer to the time that they were actually voting, the couple of weeks right before the big awards, thereby making them subject to our good old friend, the recency effect, a psychological phenomenon which states that we are more likely to remember and prefer things that we've seen or watched more recently. So while The Big Short and The Revenant were distant memories in the voters' minds, having just seen Spotlight,
everybody's gonna be interested in this.
That's the one they vote for. Put simply, you don't want your movie to be losing steam as it heads into the Oscars, because the 2 weeks before the ceremony is when the voting really happens. So here we are. This is it. This is the moment. Bill from accounting is headed down the hall, waving that Oscar ballot in his grubby little hands, looking as cocky as always. Thoughts of that Iranian documentary running through his head. What are you gonna do to wipe that grin off his face? Let me tell ya. Step 1, follow the guilds. Look up the winners from each respective guild and mark them off. Add in some of the categories that we mentioned from the Critics' Choice. Step 2, double check your choices with Twitter trends. And step 3, before you turn in your ballot the Friday before the Oscars, double check Google Trends to see if any underdogs have been gaining in search. And finally, step 4, watch the ceremony and celebrate as the points come rolling in. And when Monday morning rolls around, rub your astute choice of best foreign film documentary in Bill's face. Because at the end of the day, who cares which multi-millionaire walked away with a golden statue? All that matters is you winning bragging rights for the next year. Screw you, Bill! You and your calculator. Just because it has subtitles doesn't make it good. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.